The tab was hanging too low. I never placed them there. Then I saw another one ahead of it, leading into the channel I had not taken. I used to hike the way some people drive back roads after work. I liked the problem of it. A hot ridge, a line on a map, a piece of public land nobody had made convenient. By mid-June, I was choosing places that barely counted as trails. Camp road edges, old fire cuts, pale washes on satellite view. I was careful. That's the part I keep coming back to. I carried water, a printed map, a charged phone, and white plastic trail tabs cut from milk jugs. I marked my way in, then collected them on the way out. That morning, I parked at the end of a sandy access road north of a campground. It was already hot enough that the hood ticked after I shut it off. Beyond the road, the land rose toward a ridgeline, all yellow grass, juniper, and skinny pines. Around 10 o'clock, I started walking. It was a thin path through dust, a trail for cattle. Grasshoppers exploded into flight at my footsteps. Cicadas chimed somewhere in the brush. From time to time, I hung my marker at the shoulder level, looking back in the direction of the vehicle. The trail ended at the wash. This much I knew, but what surprised me was the fact that the wash seemed to lead straight to the ridgeline, probably linking to an old fire road further up the ridge. Inside it was hot, very hot. Twigs and dry leaves cracked underfoot. The walls blocked the air. My shirt stuck to me. I kept marking my route as I went. Branch, exposed root, broken fence post, branch again. After a little while, I realized that the insects stopped following me. Not suddenly, but rather as if they faded into the background. I could hear my pack straps and my steps, but the cicadas were behind me now, and the grasshoppers had stopped jumping ahead. I stood still, mostly to prove to myself there was something ordinary making me uneasy. No wind, no bird calls, no movement except sweat running into my beard. Then the sound came from up the ridge. It was not a scream. It was longer and thinner, like air being pushed through a pipe with something caught in it. It went up, stretched, and ended abruptly. At first, I considered the possibility of an injured animal up there. Deer, probably. Something with lungs and pain. I waited for it again. It didn't come. There was still enough daylight, and I was close enough to the car that turning around felt embarrassing. A lot of bad decisions begin that way. So I continued, convincing myself that I would backtrack after reaching the next fork. The fork was right there. The left side climbed toward open rock. The right narrowed under brush and looked cooler. I had no reason to choose the right, so I took the left. That's where I found the first mark. It was cut into a pine trunk above the wash. Not initials, not an arrow, just 3 short horizontal slices. A few yards ahead, another trunk had the same cuts. I looked back. One of my white tabs was hanging below me, bright in the shade. Only it was not where I had put it. I never placed them low. Low markers vanish behind brush when you're tired. I put them at shoulder height, facing my return path. This one was near my thigh, turned sideways. I told myself I had clipped it in a hurry. Then I saw another beyond it, also low. I climbed down and followed them, slowly at first. The tabs led into the right-hand channel I had chosen not to take. Same distance, same white flash. Good enough to trust if I had been tired. Good enough to follow without thinking. The trail became narrow in places where the wash was squeezed by the wall and roots of plants, but at its end, there was an opening that was hidden by the shade of the ridge. The sand in front held one crescent scrape, like something heavy had been dragged there from the inside. I did not want to go deeper. I turned and ran. Running downhill on soft sand is a horrible thing to experience. I slipped on loose stones, hit my elbow against the wall, and tore one tab off a branch so hard the plastic split. Behind me, from that hollow, the wailing started again. This time it moved. It bent around the wash, sometimes near my left shoulder, sometimes far back, sometimes above me on the bank. It could have been someone using the terrain. It could have been a caller, or some tool I don't know. I never saw anyone, though. At the fork, I almost took the wrong side again. One of my tabs had been placed on a dead branch pointing uphill. I only caught it because the slit was torn wider than the others. I don't tear them when I hang them, and I use both hands. I climbed out of the wash and walked through the open area towards the cattle path. My phone had one bar, long enough for the map to show my blue dot too far east. As I walked westwards, it gradually disappeared. Cicadas returned at once, and so did grasshoppers, but not alone. With them came the buzzing of some kind of flies. They buzzed loudly around the place where I hurt my arm. I arrived back at my car with 11 markers missing. I told a ranger later that I thought someone had been moving markers in the wash. He nodded the way people nod when they have already decided which part of your story they believe. He said there were illegal camps sometimes, and people did strange things when they wanted privacy. That's probably all it was. It still puzzles me how one of my white tabs could appear under my windshield wiper.
Like,
Shh.